Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
Welcome to Salisbury and Sweetnam Sports Podcast. I'm riddled with hay fever, block nose, I have a stutter, if you didn't wonder as well. So there you go, that's me, I'm Adam. Welcome, James.
Hello, Adam. I've got slightly less problems in the summertime, I've got to be honest, so unlucky you. Fantastic for me. Anyway, I've not seen you much this week. What exactly have you been up to?
Well, this week, started with Love Island on Sunday, which is lovely. Was it Sunday or Monday?
Monday, I'm going to dissect Love Island in some serious depth slightly later on in the show.
Yeah, but I mean, I started the week, depending if you start the week on the Sunday evening, in the champagne. And then it went from there, basically, riddled with illness. I reckon I got food poisoning from the champagne. So
yeah, that's not brilliant marketing for our local Indian cuisine.
Which is normally pretty decent.
Yeah, I enjoy the champagne. However, there is a 1 in 10 risk. However...
Others would argue 1 in 2, really. But yeah.
Yeah, I've heard. Anyway, so, champagne, brilliant cuisine, but another place that offers an excellent cuisine is in
Cuisine, not cuisine.
Cuisine.
Thank you.
Anyway, so
Cuisine.
Blackpool, a place that I can't seem to get away from at the moment. Obviously, last week I went into depth on the radio stuff. I'll be doing small update. Probably going to be doing some shadowing at Rock FM, which is our local radio station. So yeah, waiting for dates on that. Quite good news. So anyway, on Friday, going back to Blackpool. So our evening kicked off. We literally had nothing else to do on a Friday, so travelling to Blackpool for a buffet was our best option. So they kicked off, walked to the bus stop, met a woman who I'd describe as potentially a cocaine addict. Would that be fair to say?
I won't go that far. I just think it was a problemed female.
Yeah, problem. We've been through that. Can't use that word. But yeah, she was a little bit...
mentally handicapped. Screw loose.
Okay, we'll go for screw loose. So yeah, she was a bit dozy maybe, and I don't think she had learning difficulties. We're not going down that route. She was just a bit.
I just think she was handicapped.
Yeah, she was. That's also an offensive word. I'm just going to say she was sort of mad as a box of frogs. That's what I'm going to go for. Very mad woman. Constantly asking us whether we were part time, which I didn't know what that meant exactly.
No.
You know, we informed her that you were a police officer.
Yep. Of course.
So then, obviously, she was slightly hesitant to continue her abuse that she was directing towards us. She was worried that she'd be spending the night in a cell. She then decided to call you disabled, which I believe you took great offence to, because of course you're borderline blind.
Yeah. I wear glasses and have a stutter. Therefore, I'm disabled.
So yeah. Arrived at the train station in Preston, found out the horrible news that I'm back on the replacement bus, which is something I've not been able to get away from. Obviously, that last week I was getting up at 5 in the morning, travelling an hour to Blackpool every single day. Really tough on that non-direct bus. So yeah, we arrived, discovered that was going to be the way we have to get there. Another girl at the train station abused Dad of having glasses again. So
yeah. I just couldn't get away from angry females wanting to vent their frustration on my eyesight. I think it's horrible. Really horrible gender, actually. On that evening, of course. Yeah, the females.
So you're saying you were abused by women that night?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So anyway, Adam got over the fact that he'd been abused by the Preston women, and we travelled on the replacement bus to Blackpool. Relatively comfortable trip. A man threatened to assault me quite bizarrely. He was on the bus with his 2 young children, and he asked me if I could watch his phone while he charged it. Absolutely fine, of course. I'm always willing to be a good Samaritan. But then he made the horrible statement when his daughter said, "Are you going to trust that lad with your phone?" He went, "Yeah, and I'll knock him out if he does anything with it." Which I thought was relatively harsh, considering I was just trying to be nice and looking after the man's phone.
Yeah, but to be fair, you can't really be surprised, really, considering that the clientele were en route to Blackpool. As I'd like to put it, an absolute shit tip.
Yeah, not one of the greats in this country. One of the worst, actually, in fact. So they arrived in Blackpool North, 2-minute walk, and we arrived at Mr. Bazrai, better known by us as Mr. Bazraz, and it's truly one of the greats.
It is. It's an all-you-can-eat world cuisine sort of place, and it's all you can eat, and it's fantastic quality of food. There's Indian, there's British carvery, there's Chinese, there's Italian, there's all you can eat desserts, there's a noodles bar. It is simply outstanding. I think I went up and got 6 plates. I was starving, by the way. I hadn't eaten since lunchtime.
Yeah, I had 3 and I thought I was tucking in.
Yeah, I was extremely hungry. But yeah, I would absolutely recommend you to go. It's easy to get to, just outside Blackpool North Station, and pretty decent value. I think it's about £15 all you can eat, and if you get a deep fill, then it's worth every penny.
Yeah, it sort of started out as a joke. We'll go to Mr. Bazra, we'll have a dabble, bit of a laugh on a Friday night, nothing else to do. It's now become we're going every week.
Yeah.
Well, not every week, but we'll be dabbling in Bazra from time to time, I'd imagine, in the not too distant future.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, so
always keen.
Travel back to the world of Preston, and if you've been a regular listener, you'll remember that me and Adam once had an altercation in a bar known as the Stanley Arms on St. Paddy's Day, quite a while back. Quite a good story, actually, so if you want to listen to the start of that episode, a really good tale, but I'm not going to go too deeply into that. We arrived, and there were some extremely good dancers on the floor. There was one particular smackhead who, although I have to believe has been on heroin for a relatively long period of time, when you've got it, you have got it, because that man could move.
He absolutely could move. The only issue was, I don't think he could clean his teeth because he had none. But that didn't stop him from being an excellent womanizer.
Yeah. And when you say womanizer, you mean a womanizer. Because the woman we met earlier on at the bus stop just happened to be his prey for the night. And those two got together and had a seriously good night.
Yeah, the mentally handicapped woman went over to...
once again, can't say handicapped, but go on.
Went over to the person who James described as a smackhead after being attracted to the dancing. And as they say, the rest is history.
Absolutely fantastic. And briefly, while we're on the topic of food, I'm throwing out all these topics, but I'm going to do it. Is Jamie Oliver a prick?
Yes. Hasn't he called one of his children a turkey twizzler?
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
Maybe true. I don't know.
It might be a nickname that he has of his child, or he might have actually called his child a turkey twizzler. Well, I don't know.
That would be child abuse, and hopefully he hasn't done that. But "they're great" was a catchphrase that I loved throughout childhood with the Frosties brand. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So just
What's
thought
that?
They're great. The Tiger,
Oh,
Tony
right.
the Tiger.
Oh, right. I see you.
Yeah. Anyway, quick shout out to Christopher Rushton. He's a regular listener of the show and is back in the United Kingdom. He's been abusing the Preston accent that he has on the American females, so every credit to him. Met up with Chris and a few other people, regular listeners actually, in the likes of Dan Hayes, Jamie Sumner, Imogen Young and Matt White at the Anchor in Hutton, and defeated Chris at pool 2-1. Really proud of myself there.
Yeah, well done to Chris on making it home safely from Kansas.
Yeah, well done, Tim. Hopefully a professional golfer in the not too distant future.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so Saturday night, my last topic before we delve into the sport, because I met up with someone who I've not met for a very long time. Now, we've discussed regularly, I've been working as a cleaner for the last 2 years. Adam used to work as a cleaner, but has since retired from that particular trade. And I work for an events company called Sunshine Events, who do events up and down the country, whether it be Manchester, London, wherever. So I've done a couple in those locations. And for the very first time, I was doing an event on my own at a private party in Preston. So I arrived at the party, and you'll never guess who I saw. Have a guess.
Are they our age?
Older. You know this person.
Jack Arnfield.
Jack Arnfield? I've never met Jack. And this is a private party in Preston. I'm going to give you a small clue. He lives in Lytham and he thinks he's posh. Bish bosh viva, Mr. Kosh.
Jesus Christ! Fantastic!
I saw him and I went, "Hello, sir." And he looked at me and went, "Hello, James." So it was nice to see him again. I was actually working his stepmom's 50th birthday party.
That's absolutely fantastic, actually, because I've been quite worried about Mr. Kosh. He obviously left Hudson, and I've not seen too much of Mr. Kosh Kosh, ever since me and Mr. Kosh used to get on like a house on fire, that's for sure. And I'd wish Mr. Kosh all the best.
Yeah, a true great Mr. Kosh would answer most questions you asked him.
Yeah, I once asked him if he was homosexual, and he replied with, "I have a wife, Adam."
You also asked him if his wife was fit, which was slightly inappropriate, and even more inappropriate, he answered it with the response, "Of course, Adam, I wouldn't have married her otherwise."
Yeah, and just if you're listening, by the way, I have slightly got more mature since then.
Yeah,
They
year
are
10.
very immature questions.
Yeah, year 10. Year 10. Year 9 physics lessons, actually, so half a decade ago since we were taught by Mr. Kosh.
I reckon I managed to stay in the class for the whole hour. I reckon 10% of all lessons.
Well, that's better than me, because I spent every week in isolation, usually for things that I don't really deserve to go to isolation for.
Yeah,
But that is that. Mr. Kosh, a man who once claimed that his life was loosely based on Grand Theft Auto. So there's a little fact about Mr. Kosh. Anyway, yeah, so Mr. Kosh managed to avoid me all evening. Although I'm a big fan of him, he's not a big fan of me. But on the bright side, I got to speak to Mr. Kosh's dad for about a 20-minute period. Really nice fella, Mr. Kosh's dad, known as Koshy by his girlfriend. And yeah, lovely lad is Mr. Kosh's dad. Bought me 2 pints, really appreciated that. Lovely, upbeat fella, and he's Scottish. So Mr. Kosh is half Scottish.
And did you talk to Mr. Kosh about Mr. Kosh or not?
Oh yeah, briefly. He asked me if Lewis used to teach me. Lewis, of course, being Kosh's real name. Well, not his real name, but his first name. And I said, yeah. I didn't mention that I didn't spend much time in those lessons. But, yeah. That was my
Great story.
Love-
Heartwarming.
Yeah, heartwarming Mr. Kosh story. Really lovely family. And thankfully for me, they let me go to the buffet to eat. So 2 days in a row, I got an unbelievable spread.
Fantastic.
Mr. Bazright and Mr. Kosh's stepmom's 50th birthday party.
Absolutely fantastic. What was on? Cheese and pickle?
Pizza, like ribs, drumsticks, goujons, onion barges, the works. They had it all.
Right, so you really were under the cosh at this point.
Thank you very much, Mr. Salisbury. That was absolutely inspirational, improvisational work.
Great banter, it really is.
I'll tell you what did bring a tear to the eye of Adam Salisbury, and that's the death of the horse, Denman. Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, the 2008 Cheltenham Gold Cup winner. The only animal to ever run Cato Star into the ground. An absolutely scintillating horse. I've used that term again. But yeah, rest in peace to Denman. A real class act. And also happy retirement to Jack Adam. 2 times John Dirkenshaw's winner. That was fantastic. A fantastic horse. Really reliable, consistent animal. Usually a runner-up towards the end, but a terrific horse. So yeah, happy retirement, Jack Adam. And rest in peace to the great Denman.
Yeah, a couple of topics I very quickly want to go over. I got onto a really big sort of roll talking about Michael Bisping. But yeah, very quickly going to touch car share. Did you see the end?
I did.
Absolutely exceptional, I thought.
Yeah, I thought we were decent.
Tied up all the loose ends and very funny.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so an end to an absolutely unbelievable programme. Britain's Got Talent also came to an end. Lost Voice guy won. A man who couldn't even speak. A man who's battled past cerebral palsy to create comedy. So well done to him.
Sounds hilarious.
Please don't be rude to those with cerebral palsy.
I'm not. It just doesn't sound overly funny looking at someone who's just recovered from...
He hasn't just recovered, he's still got cerebral palsy.
Oh, right, so what they're doing is watching a man who can't speak and laughing.
Yeah, but he's telling jokes
All
via
right.
his computer.
I see. Sounds a bit bizarre.
Yeah, so anyway, lastly, Love Island is back. What have you made out of it so far?
Terrific.
Tremendous, thank you.
I think it's decent, yeah. I enjoy it.
Quick, not a huge fan of a lot of the participants this year. I thought you could have found a better lineup outside of Pop World. Thought it's relatively poor. Go through the lads. Is it Alex the Doctor? That's his name, Alex, I believe. Feeling a bit sorry for him. He seems a bit like a fish out of water. So yeah, he's struggling. I thought Haley was disgusting last night not to kiss him. I thought it was just really uncomfortable. And I think he feels a bit victimised now, Alex. Not a huge fan of Niall. He's going on about Adam's body too much, doing my head in a bit. Adam not really showing too much. Just not an overall fan of the lineup. Hopefully it improves though, because I will watch every single second of Love Island. And yeah, a few requirements that I believed were perfect for this year's show. And I've posted this on Twitter, but I'm reading back out for you and give me your take. No ripped jeans.
I agree with that. Nothing worse than ripped jeans, unless you happen to trip up in person.
No use of the words bantering, muggy, my type on paper, or eggs in one basket.
Yeah, a bit cringy, overused terms last series, so yeah, better off without.
Yeah. No perms or top knots.
Apologies, John.
No apologies to John, get rid of the fucking perm.
No, I completely agree with that. Perms have to go, unfortunately. We're not living in the 70s anymore.
Yeah. No Essex accents.
Unfortunately,
there's loads, but these were my requirements before the show, and we've recorded this too late.
I don't overly mind an Essex accent, really.
No club promoters.
Yeah.
They're just not very nice people and annoy me on that so.
Yeah, they're bizarre people.
No 11 degrees or silk.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely outrageous globber.
Yeah. Finally, you can't know the lyrics to any Stormzy song.
Yeah, I also agree with that.
So, yeah.
Stormzy's terrible.
Yeah, there are my requirements. So yeah. Right, now we're going to kick off with the boxing, and it's an absolutely huge weekend on both sides of the Atlantic. I'm going to start in the United Kingdom, Manchester to be precise, at around 4 PM on Saturday. We're going to be avoiding Penwitham Gala, where all the youths come out in their hooded clothes and ruin Penwitham for the day. We're heading up to Manchester. The Mac is back. Let's hear the tunes for one last time. Tyson Fury is taking on Albania's second best cruiserweight, Sefer Safari.
It's a real spectacle in the making, this. It's two greats in a boxing, to have a grace a boxing ring. One in heavyweight division and the other, of course, in the cruiserweight division. These are really respected men. Tyson Fury, the greatest heavyweight, in my opinion, on the planet currently. Sefer Safari, okay. Not brilliant. However, it promises to be a fantastic, fantastic night at the MEN. And one that I'm thoroughly looking forward to.
Yes, Sefer Safari goes by the real deal. And John Fury, earlier in an interview today, said that Sefer Safari is a danger to anyone and would knock Tony Bellew's spark out. I don't necessarily agree with those comments. I think he's a decent enough opponent for Tyson Fury to get back in the game. Let's not forget, he's coming off the back of a huge weight loss, depression, drug and alcohol dependencies. Inspirational that he's got back, and I really look forward to him doing his stuff. His messages on Instagram, the daily updates, helping other people through their problems. It's truly been inspiring, and I hope we see the best of him again this weekend. And I know that sparring's nothing, and workouts are nothing, and seeing on the pads is nothing, but from the public workouts, it doesn't look like he's lost a step, does it?
It doesn't. And yeah, just to echo what James said, it's a fantastic story in all seriousness. Tyson Fury obviously got no credit for the job he did against Vladimir Klitschko and hit depression, drugs, alcohol, yes. However, to come back like the man he is, the true champion that Tyson Fury is absolutely incredible, and hopefully, and we just hope that he can come back to anything near his best, because in my opinion he will absolutely rout anybody in that heavyweight division currently. But that is a conversation for another day, because he's got Sefer Safari on his mind currently, and that's a fight he has to win. So good luck, Tyson Fury.
Yeah, I saw bits and bobs of Sefer at the workout. He didn't look brilliant, God bless him, but he's coming over. He's going to try his best. I think he's just happy to have got himself a bit of a big fight, a little payday. And Fury hugged him in the ring, then kneed him in the face, then headbutted him, and then threw an onslaught of punches, but all in good fun.
Yeah.
They got along quite well. So that's a good thing, really.
Yeah, you got to respect Safari. He might not be the most talented man on the planet with the boxing gloves on. However, ultimately, he's stepping into the ring with a man who punches people relatively hard in the face, and you've got to admire that.
It is. Yeah, so anyway, fantastic to see Fury back in the ring Really look forward to him doing his stuff. But this night isn't just about the Furious One. Another Manchester lad, one of the pound-for-pound best in this country, is going to try and win a world title in a second weight division. Terry Turbo Flanagan is taking on the American and brash talker, unbeaten Maurice Hooker. And Terry Flanagan is a man who's absolutely incredible. Can turn on a sixpence, really quick hands, southpaw, awkward, and hasn't got the credit he deserved, has he?
Absolutely not. Unfortunately, because he's not Matchroom, he doesn't get the hype that Anthony Crawley got, etc. For me, Terry Flanagan is the best thing to come out of Manchester since Ricky Hatton. Extremely talented man, and we're all hoping he can become a 3-weight world champ Saturday night.
Yeah, 2-weight slip of the tongue.
2-weight. 3-weight.
2-weight.
Yeah, 2-weight, 3-weight, the same thing in this day and age.
Yeah, they're absolutely not. But anyway, Terry Flanagan, excellent fighter. We really hope that he can get another world title. And hopefully gets a place in this World Boxing Super Series, which is rumoured for that particular weight division. So really hope he gets some space in there. Maurice Hooker, a brash-talking American man, unbeaten himself, packs a really big punch. I personally think Terry's going to be too much for him this week, and I think Terry's a little too talented. And now that he's not cutting himself down, I'm going to ask your opinion on this. Some fighters recently, Lee Selby, Jamie McDonnell, have just been at a weight division for too long, and we've seen in their performances that they couldn't hack it anymore. Terry Flanagan's moved up at the right time, hasn't he?
He absolutely has, and he's looking fantastic for it. I honestly think he'll win quite comfortably on Saturday night. I think it'll be a cracking night, and I am looking forward to seeing Terry Flanagan. I think it'll be the best performance we have seen from him currently, because he's at a more comfortable weight. And yeah, exciting times if you're a Terry Flanagan fan.
Yeah, excellent analysis there. Now another Manchester man who's in a very good fight. Ricky Hatton-trained Nathan Gorman, the heavyweight sensation, is taking on a huge challenge this weekend. The biggest test of his career so far. It's the Irish champion, Sean Big Sexy Turner. And it's fantastic to see Nathan taking steps up, isn't it, as he tries to get towards British European level.
It is, definitely. Nathan Gorman is one of the most exciting prospects in Frank Warren's stable. And this weekend's just another stepping stone to him making that a British European level. So yes, exciting times for Gorman and Warren. And yeah, I think it's a good time to have the fight on a huge card, obviously, and I think he'll win.
Yeah, I think he'll win as well. I agree with you, but I do think Sean Turner is going to give it absolutely everything he has, because he is a game man, Sean, and he's a good fighter himself.
Do not take Big Sexy lightly, or for granted.
Yeah, and if you'll pardon the pun, because he's a seriously big lad who's seriously sexy also, as his nickname goes. Yeah. If you're into that particular look.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of women or men out there who do like that look.
Yeah, hopefully. So no, recently there's been that rumour: is George Groves, the man who schooled Chris Eubank, gonna make the World Boxing Super Series final? I asked you a couple of weeks ago on your view. There was a worry that he wasn't going to make it. Chris Eubank Jr. was potentially going to come in to take on Callum Smith. We all thought, no, this isn't the right fight. It was practically contracted, I've heard. It was nearly done. The fans made a noise. The Saint is gonna make it. Spitfire, light the beacons. The World Boxing Super Series final. George Groves versus Callum Smith, and it's the final all British boxing fans want to see.
Yes, it's great that George Groves has made it. Obviously, hammered Chris Eubank on the cards. So yes, it's only right that he gets the gig at winning the World Boxing Super Series, which I'm sure he will. And yeah, well done, George Groves. It's been a tough road after that fight, in fairness. And yes, it's good for the Super Series. Otherwise, if Eubank got taken forward, it would have been a bit sort of
an anticlimax.
Yeah, it would have left a poor taste in the mouth for me, really.
Yeah, because what's been an excellent tournament so far, and also threatens to be an incredible tournament with this bantamweight division. I don't want to go in too depth with that because we've done it before. But yeah, it really is a fantastic end for the tournament, and well done to all the advisors for listening to the fans.
Yes.
Right, another rumoured fight, Kubrat Pulev, Dillian Whyte. Very interestingly, this fight, Team Sauerland, well, more Kubrat Pulev wouldn't agree to come to this country. Dillian Whyte didn't particularly want to Bulgaria. So it went to a purse bid. Eddie Hearn and Sauerland both bid in around the 800,000 mark. Hearn slightly outbid White, but they were both blown out the water by Epic Sports Entertainment, who've never actually hosted a boxing event ever before. So very interesting one there. And I think they're going to be trying to take over boxing in some sort of way. Actually turns out that they are led by one of Pulev's good friends, so Pulev really is in league control so far if Dillian Whyte agrees to go forward with this fight. Should Dillian be worried if the fight ends up in Bulgaria or the US, or do you think Dillian will win wherever it goes?
I think it's a good fight, actually. I don't think it'll happen if it's outside the UK. Hearn will want to get that on a main event, on a card at the O2 for definite. So, for me, it just won't happen.
Okay, very fair enough. And interesting that more companies are trying to get involved in the boxing game in this very, very crowded market.
It's grateful for it. It's not necessarily that crowded in this country, really, is it? Because you've got Sky and to a certain extent, a BT.
Yeah, no, but Epic aren't going to be interested in putting this in the UK.
No.
I mean more on a global perspective.
Yeah, it's good, yeah.
So anyway, a fighter who is willing to travel is Dave the White Rhino Allen. We've been very vocal in our support of him. We love Dave. We're huge fans of him. He's travelling to France, Paris to be precise, to take on the Olympic gold medalist Tony Oka. What a brave man Dave Allen is.
Yeah, it's a lovely place, Paris, as well, so I'm sure I'll have a cracking time.
The city of love, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah. So whether he has a cracking time in the ring or feels the love in the ring, we'll see. But I hope so. But Olympic gold medalist, he's got his work cut out.
And they say, even if you're losing, you're learning. This is still early in Dave Allen's career, and he's a very tough man. I don't see Tony Yoka stopping him. So hopefully Dave can get the rounds in. He might not necessarily win, but hopefully he can develop his experience, and that'll help him as he works towards British level. Now, of course, I said earlier on, massive on both sides of the Atlantic. Jeff Horn is back. I love Jeff Horn, the man who beat depression, who beat bullying, who beat astronomical odds to defeat Manny Pacquiao at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane.
It's only 8-1, wasn't it?
8-1, it's big odds if you're a boxing fan. So yeah, Jeff Horn beat big odds to defeat Manny Pacquiao. He gets to see his name in bright lights in Las Vegas as he travels to take on Terence Crawford, who well and truly is one of the best. Jeff Horn, an inspirational figure, somebody who's truly beaten the odds. But for me, this is too big an ask.
Yeah, it's another great story. Like James said, Horn has overcome troubles in his life, but did defeat Pacquiao, so write him off at your peril. But I am going to write him off at my peril, because Crawford is really a class act.
Yeah, he really is. Horn, very aggressive, a mauler, will really try his very best to beat Crawford. But Crawford is an absolutely sensational talent. He was unbelievable at 135. He took over the entire division at 140. He won every single belt on offer. I think now at welterweight, he's just going to continue to build what has been an unbelievable legacy. I think he picks up this WBO title. Don't get me wrong, I'd love Jeff Horn to pull off an upset. He's a great character and a great story. But I think this is where I'll be found wanting. Crawford, a little bit too good. I don't know where you rank Terence, but I've got him at number 2 in my pound-for-pound rankings, right behind Vasyl Lomachenko.
Yeah, he's right up there. And there's some extremely interesting fights out there if he was to pursue those fights, to really sort of concrete himself there. That sounds awful. Cement himself there. Bloody hell.
And you've got an A-level in English. Not sure how you got there.
Well, thank you very much. But yeah, to cement himself in and around the top 2 for me at that pound for pound list, then yeah, he would have to go out there and defeat huge names in the industry. But I wouldn't write him off because, yeah, class.
So the likes of Spence, the likes of Furman, they're the fights we want to see down the line. And maybe Terence might just dazzle in the lights in Las Vegas. No, anyway, that card is competing with another sensational card going on just one state to the left. That's fantastic geographical knowledge of the United States of America. We're going from Nevada right to California. Leo Santa Cruz, the featherweight champion of the world, is rematching Abner Mares, the man who pushed him exceedingly close. Split decision. Since then, Abner's moved to Robert Garcia, who also trains Mikey Garcia. He's come on leaps and bounds. He's looked sensational. And it's good to see these two men rematching each other. And more importantly, just fantastic to see elite featherweights in the ring together.
Yeah, most definitely. You can bet your bottom dollar on Leo Santa Cruz being involved in a great fight. So it's a fight to tune into. So yeah.
And on the undercard co-main event, last boxing topic, Jamel Charlo, who's been tearing apart that 154 division, he takes on Austin Trout, who's a very awkward veteran, but I believe Jamel's on the rise, and Trout, although a good operator, is slightly on the slide, so I'm going to have to opt for Jamel Charlo to win that fight. And that is the end of our boxing talk. Thank you all for getting involved. Now moving on to the football. Firstly, Liverpool have signed Fabinho. Is he a good signing?
I think it is a good signing. A utility player, right back and central midfielder. It's a signing that they need, really. A bit of experience, a bit of class. So yeah, a good signing for Liverpool. Well done, Jurgen Klopp. Well done.
Manchester United have started a women's team. Now, as a man who always discusses his love of females in sport, are you mouse all over the place there? Are you happy to see this development for the women's game?
Yeah, I've got a lot of time for women's football. So that's absolutely fantastic to hear. Well done, Man United. You are a figurehead of society.
Well done for you, for those inspiring words. Words that'll go down probably on your gravestone. Some of the very best.
Yeah.
Now, United have made 2 signings over the summer so far. Firstly, Fred has signed from Shakhtar Donetsk. Do you know much about Fred, and do you think he'll be instrumental in Jose Mourinho's side next season?
Yeah, I think he's an extremely good player. And the money talks, ultimately. He will be a good player. A very, very talented man. So yeah, I wish Fred all the best at Manchester United.
Yeah, agreed. Now, Diego Dalot has also signed for Manchester United. Another scintillating signing for next season.
Yeah, I don't know too much about this bloke, but I'm sure Mourinho knows the drill. So yeah, probably another good signing. If not, never mind.
Right. Well, you don't like a flop, you like the best players to sign. Adam's currently holding up a very controversial picture, which sort of taking my concentration away slightly, but I'm working through it, and that's why I'm a professional radiographer. Whether that's the right word or not,
No, it's not.
I'm not sure. Podcaster, just a professional podcaster.
I'm pretty sure that radiographer is a completely different profession. Actually.
It could well be, but I think a lot of people would have given this a slide.
Yeah, no. Anyway, carry on.
Frank Lampard, another player who's moved into the managerial role alongside Steven Gerrard earlier on in the year. He'll be taking on the challenge of the Rams, Derby County. Do you see his experience being enough to lead them next season?
I think it's an extremely tough job to walk into. There's a huge expectation at Derby County. But they ought to be challenging for playoffs and promotion with the size of the football club. Lampard will most probably be able to attract players. Will he be able to get them performing on the field of play? That we'll have to wait and see. But I wish Lampard all the best. I admired him as a player, and hopefully he is successful as a manager, because I think he's a really nice man.
Yeah, really nice to see. You giving players credit on their personality, not just on their ability on a football field. Now, a man who's been given a hell of a lot of stick over the past couple of weeks is Raheem Sterling for getting a tattoo of a gun on his lower leg. What do you make of the tattoo? And for me, I think he's getting a lot more criticism than he deserves.
Well, if a World Cup comes around and the British media aren't trying to terrorise one particular player, I'd be highly surprised. But this year is Raheem Sterling, and the media really have latched onto this sort of, oh, Raheem Sterling's got a gun, he's advocating people killing others with guns. It's just obscene. No, for me, he explained himself quite adequately. I think his dad got shot when he was younger. And Sterling shoots with that particular leg. So there's a deeper meaning, one that I'm not overly comfortable with going into, because that's private for Sterling. Ultimately, I think it's a bit of a joke that the media want to terrorise him. He is one of the most instrumental players in England's squad this summer. Just leave him alone.
Yeah, I've been noticing a lot of people critiquing him. I've seen headlines that criticise him for going into Greg's, headlines that criticise him for going into Pound World. Just disgusting. Let the man get on with his life. If he wants to buy a bag of Pringles, let him buy a bag of Pringles.
For £1.
For £1, he can do whatever he likes, whenever he likes. Stop having a go at a man. It's his body. He can do as he pleases.
Agree.
Yeah, so anyway, Courtois, set to be leaving. What do you think this will do to that particular side?
Can't say I've heard anything about this.
No, I just read that on the world of Twitter.
All right.
And wrote it down earlier.
Right. No, yeah. What was that on? Was it on a credible source?
You're testing my memory here.
Right, yeah, well, if he was to leave, it would have quite a big impact on Chelsea. I think he's a fantastic keeper. He didn't have the best year last year, but 2 years ago when they won the league, I thought Thibaut Courtois was instrumental in doing that. So I think it'd be a poor move for Chelsea to get rid of him.
Anyway, moving on to the world of cricket, and very, very interestingly, we are breaking out into the mainstream. The Salisbury and Sweetnam Sports Podcast, we're proud to announce that we were the sponsor at the match ball at Penwith MCC versus Kendal. Very proud day for the podcast.
Yeah, Penwith CC 2s against Kendal 2s. Kendal winning the game. My performance left a lot to be desired. I did the rest of the team with respect to the rest of the team. And the first 11 had a fantastic weekend though, and we got the honour of sponsoring the match ball for the Male Cup tie between Penwith first team and Vernon Carris first team. Vernon's posted 233 on the board, which is a pretty huge score, really, one that's rarely chased down. But due to a sublime century of 106 by Jack Armour and runs from Robbie Sumner as well, Penwith got home with a couple of balls to spare. So that was a fantastic win for the first team. Always nice to beat Vernon Carris. We've done it twice in the last 4 weeks. So well done to Ashley Billington's men. Well done.
Congratulations to the Dirty Greek. Well done to him. So anyway, England have bounced back in sensational style against Pakistan. I hope you're absolutely over the moon that they're getting wins against the big teams.
Yeah, it's been quite a while since I saw England win a Test match, and it happened this time. Headingley, England having a bowl on the first morning of a Test match at Headingley. It's only going to end one way. Broad, unstoppable. England knocking them over 184. The game was won there. A great win. Yes, well done England. Hopefully they can bounce back. Like I said on last week's podcast, unfortunately they can't go on to win the series because of this 2-match series. It infuriates me. But no, a step in the right direction for England. So well done. Well done. And excited for India later on this summer. We should be playing more Test matches instead of the ODIs, but you don't know much about this. But ultimately, we should be playing Australia in the ODIs. We should be having more Test matches for me. But whatever. One Day International 2020, all that is taken over, I believe. So that's a real shame.
Now the Footballing World Cup is just around the corner, but this week in Germany, the Darts World Cup was competed for. Once again, the world's best nations send forward their 2 best darts players in a 32-team knockout tournament. Fantastic to see darts in the mainstream, and the Netherlands were too good once again.
Yeah, I predicted that Scotland would win, and they got to the final, but ultimately the Dutch darting dynamos were too much to handle at the World Cup of Darts yet again. And the Dutch retained their crown, and no real surprise from me. England lacklustre. Scotland ran out of steam in the final. But one thing that Holland, and especially Raymond van Barneveld, won't do, that's run out of steam.
Yeah, Raymond van Barneveld can go all night.
All night.
All night
on
indeed.
And off the hockey.
Whether Barry White's playing or not. So anyway, the Netherlands, excellent. A team that made it to the semi-final. Belgium, they defeated England in the quarterfinals. Dave Chisnell slightly poor. I'm worrying for Dave now. Can he get that form back, do you believe, or do you think his opportunity's gone?
I think Dave Chisnell's got immense talent, so yeah. But, yeah, a tough period in his career. Hopefully he can bounce back.
In the Belgians, I thought Dimitri van den Berg was excellent, and he's showing that he will in fact be a future star in the sport.
Absolutely, he's prolific on that treble 20, and it's great to see the Belgians staking a claim. It's good to see them get rid of Ronnie Hybrex, that's for sure.
Yeah, Ronnie Hybrex, a real veteran, a real talented operator. Some say he's the best the sport's ever seen. Anyway, moving on.
Others don't.
Others
and never
don't.
will.
So anyway, other teams, the Australians will go once again. Simon Whitlock and Carl Anderson. Excellent. The Japanese did well. They made it to the quarter-final. And, yeah, thoroughly entertaining tournament. Really enjoyed it. And it's good to see so many nations improving their darting talent.
Yeah, I think the standard went up from last year. So that's good. And the standard can only improve.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Couple of shout-outs. It's fantastic to see irrelevant darts players on stage. Players we don't get to see very often. Boris Koltsov, the elderly Terminator of Russia. Absolutely incredible. Long grey hair mixed with a lovely goatee and all black sunglasses. And he's the only man in the world who can pull them off indoors. And I'm going to stand by that. And Paul Lim of Singapore. Absolutely brilliant once again. The stats say that you shouldn't reach your peak at the age of 64, but on this occasion, Paul Lim is playing the best darts he's ever played. So well done to him, and I hope to see him a couple more times this year. We all love Paul Lim.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Moving on to the sport of mixed martial arts. A thoroughly emotional one for me, but I'll get on with that slightly later. I'm just going to cover the other pressing topics of the week. Of course, I am referring to the retirement of Michael the Count Bisping. First of all, on Friday night, Jimmy Riviera, he's looked very good in this bantamweight division, coming off a victory of Uriah Faber. He was being touted as a man who could challenge the winner of TJ Dillashaw versus Cody Garbrandt, but it wasn't to be. He was sparked in under 30 seconds by Marlon Moraes with a left head kick. Well done to him, and he's most certainly earned himself a world title fight. Secondly, controversial issue. Nick Diaz has been arrested for the assault of a female. And we're never in favour of violence towards women, are we?
Absolutely not. I just feel like he tried to involve me in this UFC talk.
I do it every single week.
By asking me if I'm keen on violence of females.
Yeah, Nick, we don't know the full story, whether he has done what he's accused of. Of course, you're absolutely 1,000,000% innocent until proven guilty. But if he has done what he's done, then no sympathy towards Nick and everything that's coming to him. They'll deserve. But I don't want to judge too far until the court case is heard, etc., etc.
Innocent till proven guilty, as they say in the trade of justice.
And we love justice. Anyway, UFC 225 taking place for the very first time in Chicago, the Windy City. It's a fantastic card. You've even got a pal who's headed up there to Chicago. It's that good a card. Firstly, the main event. It's a rematch of a great fight that took place in Las Vegas. The world champion Robert Whittaker, who I've banged on and on and on about.
You've banged on and on?
About. In the last few... Since we started this podcast, tremendous talent. I think he's absolutely sensational. I believe exceptional striking with good takedown defence is the future of this sport. He's taken on a rematch, Yoel Romero, the man who he defeated in his last fight. He's coming off a big win against Luke Rockhold. Now, in the fight against Robert, Yoel looked good for the first couple of rounds, got a few takedowns, but he really gassed out and struggled in the latter half of the fight. But in the Luke Rockhold fight, he bided his time and eventually landed the strike that put Luke to sleep. And in the third round, he wasn't tired. So Yoel has adjusted this game. And you know as much as anyone that when you have muscle in your body, it's hard to keep going in the later rounds.
Yeah, it's fair to say that I know all about that. You know, me carrying probably too much muscle. If I'm brutally honest with myself, but I just can't stop working out, eating chicken and rice.
Yeah, you're too obsessed with protein.
Absolutely. That's what I've always said has held me back on a cricket field, really. The fact that I'm
just too muscle bound.
I'm trying too much to get massive of this holiday I'm going on to attract all these females on the gym. Not on the gym. Or in the gym, probably. But no, on the beach. That I need to stop, look back at my career, and just think, stop putting on all that muscle and just trim down and look better.
Yeah, you want to look good aesthetically on the cricket field, not off the cricket field.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was...
Or both. would be preferable, but you can't have both in this day and age.
You can't have your cake and eat it, which has always been a weird expression to me, because I don't understand why you'd have a cake and not eat it.
I couldn't agree more. And
Jamie Oliver's rules, probably.
Especially how I tend to have cake
and eat it too.
And eat it.
Amongst curry and other such foods. But anyway, going back onto the topic of mixed martial arts, which we drifted away from slightly there. Robert, I think he's absolutely sensational. I believe that Yoel is the best he's ever been. Very big distraction. Dillian White will face Luis Ortiz in a WBC eliminator on July 28th at the O2 Arena, reported by ESPN. Wow, that's just come out the woodwork.
Sheesh!
That's boxing news, and it's live! So there's our reaction.
First fast now!
Wow.
Fuck me!
Completely wrong sport to cover this in, but wow.
Ortiz wins.
Hopefully not. But
why?
Probable.
Why is it hopefully not?
Because I'd like Dillian to win. Get behind the British man.
I don't mind Luis Ortiz. I know he's a drugs cheater.
He's a drugs cheater. You can't back him because you just think he's a nice, lovable Cuban man that likes a picnic.
And also likes a big fuck-off fight.
He does enjoy a fight. Dill loves a fight. Lewis loves a fight. And I'm really struggling to... Yeah, Lewis looks really good when you're zooming up close.
Oh, fantastic news. Anyway, carry on with the UFC.
Yeah, this really has been a lack of UFC analysis. But anyway, yeah. So, Yoel, look, the best he's ever done in that Luke Rockhold fight. But Robert Whittaker, I think he's the future. And although Yoel can knock you out with one shot at any time, I wouldn't be surprised if he'd win. But if I had to make a pick, I'd go for Robert Whittaker. Now, the co-main event, once again, exceptional card this. Rafael Dos Anjos, the former champion in the lightweight division, struggling to make that weight, moved up to welterweight, and he's looked better than he ever has before. He beat Robbie Lawler in his last fight, and he looked absolutely scintillating. Exceptional from Rafael, really improving. Tyron Woodley, the welterweight champion, is currently out injured, I believe. I think he's got a shoulder injury. So the interim title is on the line. Rafael is taking on the young, the brash, and the confident Colby Covington. A man who prides himself on his trash-talking ability. He's doing a hell of a lot of it. He's even insulting Joe Rogan, who's a UFC commentator. Nobody's ever gone at him before, so this is new. Colby, I don't think he's naturally a brilliant trash talker, but regardless, he's making headlines. He once fought in Brazil and then referred to the whole crowd, calling them dirty animals and saying...
Oh, racist.
Yeah, very racist. And then saying that that Brazil is a dump, so he made himself very unpopular that night. He's also very unpopular amongst me, as although I don't follow him, he tweeted out spoilers to Star Wars.
You're joking, don't tell me.
You've seen Star Wars.
All right.
The last one.
All right.
Not the
all right.
At the time, he tweeted out spoilers to Star Wars. Terrible person who would do such a thing.
Well, that's disgusting and it needs to be put down.
Put down. I think Raphael will be looking to do that this weekend.
No, I mean put down as in dead.
May the Force not be with him.
Well, yeah. You should not spoil Star Wars.
Yeah, he also referred to Star Wars fans as virgins.
Right.
Very mean.
Right!
Very, very saddening comment by Colby. Not necessarily true. Extremely mean. I don't like that from Colby. You don't ruin Star Wars for any man.
You're a cock, Colby.
And I echo that sentiment. He also posted out spoilers to the Avengers. Take a break, Colby. It's not funny. It's not funny. Stop it. Stop being horrible.
Die.
You prick. Anyway, so moving on. Colby, actually, inside the octagon, quite a decent fighter as well. You know, he'll battle anyone. He even had an issue in Australia when he went out as a guest fighter. He started on former world heavyweight champion Fabricio Werdum, who retaliated by throwing a boomerang at him.
Right.
Struck him right in the head.
You won't get in the octagon with me.
As we discussed.
All that muscle.
Yeah, all that muscle, yeah. So anyway, Colby, very good inside the octagon. Very good wrestler. Quite a big puncher. Can be caught, though. I have to go with the experience on this one. I'm going to say Rafael Dos Anjos wins the fight and becomes the interim champion and goes on to challenge Tyron Woodley. No, next on the card, what a brilliant card this is. It's scintillating. We've got a women's fight. Holly Holm, an excellent striker. She's absolutely sensational. The woman that defeated Ronda Rousey. She's taking on Megan Anderson, the Australian sensation who's been lined up to fight Chris Cyborg. Really interesting one. Megan, of course, not being guided into the UFC easily. They've given her a really, really tough fight right off the bat. I've got to make a pick. Megan, the bigger woman. I'll go with Holly based on the fact that she's got all the experience in the world. So I'm going to edge towards Holly. Now, next up, another man who's got all the experience in the world, Andrei Arlovski. He's taken on Australian sensation Taito Avesa, a man who looked very good in his last fight. But Andrei, although he's a warrior, got all the heart in the world, he is on the sly, Ty's on the rise, so I'm going to go for the Australian man. And this card's got a bit of an Australian theme with Ty, Megan and Robert Whittaker. The last fight on the card, a man who we all adore in the world of the Salisbury and Sweetnam Sports Podcast. CM Punk is back. Let's get the tunes rolling. I love CM Punk, an inspirational story. He's never given up despite the fact he was absolutely wiped the floor with on the last occasion he stepped in a UFC octagon. He's taken on Mike Jackson. Firstly, happy to see Phil Brooks, CM Punk, back in an octagon.
No, I want him in a WWE ring. However, if he was to step in the octagon with Aaron Chalmers, then that might be a different sort of... what the hell's the word I'm looking for?
Matter?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Altogether.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think promoters will be all over a super fight between Aaron Chalmers and CM Punk.
They could probably do Deepdale Stadium.
Yeah, but I don't know why they take it to detail. Just a spectacularly irrelevant venue for that fight.
I've been the biggest sort of advocate for this fight.
Oh, yeah, right. So you should get 10% of all profit made.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. But anyway, yeah, CM Punk. This fight against Mike Jackson, I'm going to say in terms of quality, is the worst in UFC history by a long shot. Last time CM Punk took on Mickey Gall, who is well and truly UFC standard, he was never going to win. This time he's fighting somebody who hopefully is on his level, Mike Jackson. He's 0-1, as is CM Punk. Both never won in an octagon, but yet are fighting in the UFC. Mike Jackson also lost to Mickey Gall. We don't know much about him. That fight lasted for about 30 seconds. Mike was punched, he fell over, and then was choked. So that's all we know from Mike Jackson. So these two men, we don't really know exactly what they're all about because their fights didn't last particularly long. From what I've heard, CM Punk's come on leaps and bounds since the last fight. So, as a person who likes CM Punk, I hope he can get the job done this weekend.
Yeah, same here. In fact, yes, a little loose Twitter story actually. Apparently, he's been sparring Ian Huntley.
Ian Huntley's a murderer who I think's dead.
No, he's not dead.
Or is he just in prison?
Yeah, he's been sparring Punk.
That would be a bizarre statement to read. I don't know if you've been.
I'm not even joking.
I don't know if you've been picking up the Daily Sport, but I can't imagine that story has any truth whatsoever. You say there's more smoke without fire, but I think the water's truly been poured over that particular story.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on to the preliminary card. Very, very stacked, this card. It's getting ridiculous.
For fuck's sake.
It's massive. Absolutely massive. So, before we even get on UFC Fight Pass, the return, I can't believe this, looking at this card, that this hasn't made the prelims. Joseph Benavidez, former world title challenger, is taking on Sergio Pettis, the brother of Anthony Pettis. That should be an extremely good fight, looking forward to that. Rashad Evans, former world champion, on the Fight Pass card. Moving on to the prelims, Claudia Gadelha, Carlos Esparza. Good fight, Ricardo Lamins versus Mirsad Bektic. Another really good fight. And Alistair Overeem, who was last in an octagon when he was sparked unconscious by Francis Ngannou. You've seen that uppercut. It was an extremely big one. He's taken on Curtis Blades, who's coming off a victory of Mark Hunt. Excellent fight. Could go either way. Maybe edge slightly towards Curtis Blades on that particular one.
Did Overeem not beat Mark Hunt as well?
Overeem's also beat Mark Hunt, yeah.
Yeah. Was that the infamous sort of shin injury for Mark
That
Hunt?
was the infamous shin injury, yeah.
Great UFC knowledge, considering I know fuck all about it.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well, I do try and help you out every week by giving you answerable questions.
Yeah, like...
Other than domestic violence.
Enjoy domestic violence.
Well, for those who don't listen, we don't really plan this show out at all, so I've just got to ask you what's in my mind at that particular moment. So, yeah, going back to Mark Hunt, I completely forgot about this story. It's looking like he's going to headline the first event in Russia. So, well done to Mark. Another big card.
Yes, another Australian who ought not to get drugged by Russian people. Slightly loose.
I hope you're not referring to Lucas Brown. We love Lucas Brown.
Well,
Always been big advocates for Lucas on the show.
I'd advise Mark Hunt to take his own water.
Yeah, Lucas, of course, got done by the Russians. Very saddening story. Gets me a bit emotional to think about it today. But yeah, Mark, bring your own water. Don't eat the steak that they provide you.
Agree.
Yeah. Now, I've been thinking, I don't know if I can find the right words to do this justice. Michael the Count Bisping, my favourite sports star ever. His career has come to an end. And for a man who, I'm going to let you say a few words first, and then I'll do some slightly deeper analysis. But what he's done for British martial arts has been nothing short of spectacular.
Yeah, it's a good time to go. Like I told him to do all those podcasts ago. It's a good time to go. However, a good career.
Yeah, scintillating career. In terms,
you bloody love that word today.
Yeah, scintillating. I think I've used about 45 times on this podcast. They say that each podcast has its own
word.
Own word. I was looking for a slightly better word than word.
Phrase.
Favourite phrase. So yeah, scintillating being my phrase of the day. But anyway, so yeah, me and Luke, who is my brother, and also the technical producer on this show, who puts together an excellent podcast for us every single week. We're going to put a short little episode together on the count because I can't get every single word I want to on this show because I believe it'll take me about 45 minutes to an hour. So I'll have to do that one on my own. But yeah, Michael Bisping, a true legend of the sport, a man who started off just scrapping in early doors, a man who drove to Nottingham every night at school to do martial arts, driving the Cliver Road to Nottingham, a man who slept in his car, a man who only dreamt of getting to the UFC to be able to provide for his wife and his kids, a young father, a man who won the Ultimate Fighter, the third ever series, in a time where people didn't think that the Brits could compete on the main stage. He won that, he tore the world apart. He announced himself on the UFC stage, he ran through absolutely everybody before he got to the UFC. He came off one of the worst knockouts in history against Dan Henderson. He has 4 losses to out-and-out drug cheats. He has 7 losses in total. We've got towards that UFC title. A man who never gave up, who never let people say Michael Bisping isn't good enough. He wasn't interested in listening to that. He was truly the best we've ever seen on these shows. Doesn't care what people say. It's inspirational whether you want to be, or it's your case, Adam, as a sports journalist, or what I want to do in my life, or what our pal John wants to do into the police force. Whatever you want to do, if you put your mind to it, never let people tell you aren't good enough. Never let people put you down. If you work and put your mind to anything, you cannot believe it. Believe, conceive, achieve. You can do it. Knockout after knockout loss. Point decision after point decision loss. Never gave up. Kept on grafting. Stayed into the UFC top 10 for over 13 years. Kept putting good performances together. Had a loss the final time to Luke Rockhold. It looked like that was well and truly it, but no, that still wasn't enough. It wasn't even enough when he lost an eye to Vitor Belfort. He carried on fighting. He put together an unbelievable win streak. He fought Anderson Silva in London in a fight where he was claiming for years upon years upon years to beat Anderson Silva. People were like, yeah, of course you will, mate. But he truly believed. He always said his style was wrong for Silva. He finally got the opportunity to prove it. He won the first 2 rounds easily. He was knocked out virtually at the end of the 3rd round when his gum shield fell out and he received a knee to the face. Any more seconds in that round and the fight's over. Despite being knocked out, despite only having 1 eye, despite half his face hanging off, he came back and won the 4th round and won the fight. He then got an opportunity on 2 weeks' notice to take on Luke Rockhold, a man who defeated him relatively easy first time round. So many people told him he couldn't beat Luke. What even is the point of this fight? But Michael Bisping always believed this was his destiny. He was never ever going to let anyone tell him he couldn't do it. He walked on 2 weeks' notice, and other than me, I was the only person saying he could win. I was the only person who still believed in Mick, other than himself and his family. He went out, he defeated Luke Rockhold, and after a career that was so hard, it was so brilliant that he did it in such an easy fashion. He became the first British fighter to win an MMA to win a UFC world title. And it doesn't matter what the likes of, Darren Till or Jimmy Manoa or Mark Diaksy, etc. go on to do. Bisping will always be the first. local lad, an inspiration. I think we can all relate to Mike. Such a likeable character, one of the best trash talkers, a real sort of Mount Rushmore character, one of the very best, the pioneer of British MMA. And no matter the losses, he was always ready to fight anyone. You ring Mick, he'll take the fight. He doesn't care. One of the best, a hero of mine, proved that you can do anything. So well done to Mick. That is sort of in and around what I wanted to say. I'm going to go in more detail into this programme that me and Luke are going to put together. I'll try and do it justice. But what I'd like to say quickly is thank you, Michael. Thank you for the nights. Thank you for the memories. To play us out, song 2. Thank you for being the champ. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Easy all the time, but I'm never sure what I need you. Yeah, pleased to meet you. Yeah, I got my head down when I was young. It's not my problem. It's not my problem. Ooh, when I feel heavy metal, ooh, and I'm pincing my needles, ooh, well I lie and I'm easy all the time, but I'm never sure why I need you. Yeah, pleased to meet you. Yeah, pleased to meet you.